that's because that's the end of our welcome here. There are cafes nearby, so if you're wanting to continue your conversation with us, then we'll go somewhere else and carry on. So after the AGM, which won't take that long, we've got lunch, the food is out there, and the tea and the coffee are separate out through this way, so don't miss your tea and coffee. That helps with the circulation. So don't miss that. I think that's all on housekeeping. So we've got our AGM, and then this afternoon we've got Joanna's talk on Oscar Wilde, Wallpaper, and The House Beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to that. So we circulated the minutes of last year's AGM. I haven't had anybody make any comments at all about the AGM, so speak now or forever hold your peace, and we're taking it that the minutes are regarded as accurate, as we've had no comments. So nobody's shouting now. So into my actual report. This is my third year as the Honorary Chair of the Society. It is my final year. It's a 4-year stint, so I'm honoured to have this role. And once again, I'm pleased to report on another successful year with a range of activities and different means of interacting with members. Sometimes it feels as though we're perceived as being a much larger society than we are, and certainly we're highly respected. We get inquiries about wallpaper from all around the world, and our committee has a varied expertise that would be admirable in a paid professional environment, but everybody gives their time voluntarily. So as far as events are concerned for the year, we haven't had as many, but we have, of course, published the review, and we're already planning more events for next year. Although all the committee are involved in organising events, I would particularly like to thank Dr. Wendy Andrews, who's hiding over here, Dr. Zoe Hendon, Joanna Banham, and Lucy Ellis, who's hiding somewhere. Where's Lucy? Lucy's there. For work, and it's not just about organising the events, it's liaising with venues, all the planning that's associated with it, and the participants, and making sure everything runs smoothly. In March, we were fortunate to visit Martha Armitage's studio, hosted by Martha and her daughter Jo Broadhurst, where members learned about their design journey and the way they've maintained and grown a very traditional printing methodology in a world where most manufacturers have moved on to use industrial outsourced processes. I'm assuming that's going to stop. In September, we shared an online event with the Lincoln University Conservation team when Linda Skipper explored the application of scientific methods in the conservation of wallpaper. And that was quite unusual for us. It was an unusual angle, and it was also good for us to collaborate. And if anybody did it, be tested on our knowledge, because there was an interactive quiz as it was going on. So we hope to be able to work with Linda again, and anyone else who has similar events going on, we're happy to collaborate. We have exciting new events in the pipeline, including online talks planned for February and March with Louise Atkinson, who's received the Merrill Huxtable Award. Is Louise here? She's due to be here, but I thought I hadn't seen her. She's received the Merrill Huxtable Award and is working with Chinese Wallpaper and Harewood House, exploring cultural aspects of Chinese wallpaper. So she's going to give an online talk on her work, we hope on the 19th of March. We've also got a Wallpaper in Art Symposium planned for Wednesday, the 8th of June. And if anybody has not proposed, has an idea that they want to propose for the symposium, it's not too late to join us. We have some proposals in already, but there's still room for more. We're also, this is I think the best announcement of the day, we've got a visit to Scotland planned for September next year. And David, who organised the tour of Ireland last year, is putting in place a tour of Scotland, which we're all rather excited about. And we know it's going to happen because we've paid a deposit on the coach that's going to take us round. So that's going to happen between the 3rd and the 6th of September next year. And there is a save the date on our website now, so put it in your diary. It's going to be members only because of limited numbers. So if you're not, I'm preaching to the converted here, but anybody who wants to join it needs to be a member. So we've got a tour of various houses, and we also hope to visit the Macintosh Willow tea rooms. I haven't been there before, so I'm looking forward to that. So as I say, that's the 3rd to the 6th of September. So as usual, all members will be updated with the events and how to book, and our website will be updated with the details. As I've already mentioned, the review has been published this year. If anybody didn't get their copy, you need to talk to Pauline. Pauline will be mentioning that later. As the editor, I must say it's been a marathon task with more contributions than ever before and a range of factors coming together that I believe is a result of it being so successful in previous editions. Whilst considering the increase in cost that would be incurred if we expanded the length of the journal, we decided that there were some things that we were going to include. And we didn't know whether to include summaries of the symposium that we had last year, and decided it was really necessary to include them and have a printed record of the symposia. And so that extended the size of the review. Also, we had 3 Merrill Huxtable reports in there, which is unusual. They sort of concertinaed up, partly because of the pandemic. And one of them has got an awful lot of wonderful pictures in. And it's about conservation, so we want to cover the spectrum of things that we work with. So we decided we would include all the different aspects of the submissions, and it has extended it. And our finances are sound enough, and with the increase in our membership fee last year, that has meant we've been able to do that. Though we've included contemporary wallpaper in the review before, for the first time we have a section called Contemporary Developments, and we hope to expand that in the future. So bear in mind, if you are actually working in new developments in wallpaper, we'd like to hear from you for that. But one interesting thing to note was we're being asked to publish reports related to wallpaper history. We're being approached, please can we publish in the journal? And we think it's because there isn't another publication in the world that's dedicated to wallpaper. Now, if anybody knows of one, tell me, but I'm telling everybody this is the only one. And I don't think it's because people were desperate and thought, well, where can we get published? Oh, we'll better be in the review. I think people like to be in the review. It's a good place to be.
Because you do such a brilliant job.
Oh, thank you very much. So anyway, there are far too many articles to mention. I brought my copy, don't steal it. But if anybody hasn't got one, wants to have a look whilst they're here, please do. It is, as I say, it's a bumper edition, and I love it. I'd like to thank Lucy, who arrived late, because Lucy's work, she is so patient with me, and I miss so many things, and Lucy picks it up. This is Lucy Aldwinkle at the back. And also someone who isn't here, but Sean Stippling, who's the designer, and he's one of those people who, when I start to say what I need to do or what I'd like it to look back, will come back to me saying, how about this? And he's a step ahead of me, and he's put it together. And each year we publish, he moves it on a bit and designs it. And the way it's laid out this time, I think, is really special. The thing is, if it's done well, you don't notice it. If it looks good, it just looks like it's meant to be like that. But Sean is brilliant, and I'm actually working on something else with him now as a result of that. Moving on from that, one of the things that's invisible almost to members is our wallpaper dating. We have a dating forum, and it's not, we have to be careful how, especially when I'm posting on Instagram, when I refer to, the dating site. It's for dating wallpaper. We get a lot of requests. This last week, I think we've had 5 different requests to date wallpaper, at least. That was just this last week. So these mostly come via Instagram or our info@ address on the website. And we have, and I mentioned last year that Zoe, I think it was, set up Slack, and we were all working on Slack, which is a closed platform where we can share information, and we have a dating part of that, so we post things on there. And we get feedback now. I was wildly out on one of them I was only 100 years out this year. So I can only date wallpaper by its design, but we have different skills in the team. And I particularly like to thank Andrew Bush and David Skinner, who do the older papers and are very good at identifying those. And Zoe, who's been very good on the 20th century, and everybody else who chips in, Wendy. We all chip in what we know, and sometimes it consolidates that information. That information is fed back to the people who ask the questions, sometimes directly via Instagram. The Instagram account is great. I get messages that just say, I get a direct message that says, I found this wallpaper, what date is it? And I look at their history, and they have just followed us half an hour before. So they found the wallpaper. They've gone through Instagram to see if anybody might know about wallpaper, found us, followed us, and then sent the question. And it used to irritate me, but it doesn't anymore, because that is raising awareness of what we do. It also gives me, I just say, can I post this on Instagram? And if I feel that it's, a 1960s wallpaper that is quite easy to identify, I post it back on, and then our followers contribute. They do work for us, and it gets there. And the people who've sent it are just amazed. That's great. But this week we had one from, what did we say it was? The second quarter of the 18th century, we think. So that's had more likes than any that I've posted for quite some time. So this is invisible work that we do. Now, at last year's AGM, it was suggested that we find some way of sharing this, and we've been struggling with this because it does need sharing, particularly because the places like the V&A website, where they have collections of wallpaper, and you direct people and say, have a look there, see if you can find something that's relevant and matches your paper. They've done high-end wallpaper. Many of the enquiries we get are just ordinary wallpaper. And they are often, in the pandemic, I had a lot of young people stuck in their house, decided they'd strip the walls and start to decorate. And that brought through 1950s, 1960s, 1930s maybe, enquiries. And you can't find matches for those online. So we have struggled and debated with this, but Pauline has very kindly said, she'll put a page up on our website, and our plan is to put examples, obviously with the appropriate permissions, from people who sent the inquiry in, of the papers that they've sent with our comments. And if people want to contact us and say, I found a match, which sometimes happens, or I know this about it, and tell us about it and recognise that, they can do. And then that record stays out there and people can access it. And I can refer them from Instagram, or if there's one similar to that. It will be random. We have the dating part of the website where we've got wallpapers by period, but they're very rarely a match. So that's what we plan to do in the next year. And we couldn't do this, both Instagram and the website and the information that goes on, without the team that we've got. And Pauline and Lucy Ellis keep the website busy, constantly changing, which is necessary because people won't revisit a website if it's the same as it was last time. So the Instagram account's connected to the website, and we are using the website even more, publishing news, links. We encourage people to send us stories, and we're building on this, and we hope to start to ticket from the website as well. And it's Pauline who says, well, I'll do this, I'll organise it from the back end. Whatever the back end is, I'll leave that to Pauline. And as I say, Instagram, we've got more than 9,000 followers. I know you will hear about people who've got millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, but we've plateaued at just over 9,000, and some people drop off and others join us. We're about 9,200 at the moment. I want to get to 10,000, but I'm happy I'm happy that people are not, then we're not losing people, we're just gradually building. We're not, that is a great way to let people know we're there. As far as our charitable status is concerned and our responsibilities, I'm pleased to report that we've continued to fulfil those responsibilities. Our review particularly illustrates the range of work that we do that fits in with our ethos and our requirement and our constitution, and our interactions with members, as well as those who inquire about Wallpaper who aren't members, through events and direct communication, is as busy as it's ever been. We've regular committee meetings. We host these through Zoom, which means that we don't have to, we used to come to London, which is great, but that takes time and it's expensive, and it also limits the number of people you can have on your committee, because some people can't fit it in around their work responsibilities or their other responsibilities. So that continues, and Eleanor keeps us in order. So she keeps the minutes. She's our secretary, does a brilliant job, brings us back to the point, or rather brings me back to the point when I've strayed from the agenda. She'll be doing that now. And this year, Pauline has worked with a new treasurer. Part of our charitable status requires certain aspects to be fulfilled, and that has become more complicated. I did the annual return last year to the Charities Commission. I've done it every year for the last few years, and when I came to submit it, it started to ask me questions that I couldn't answer, and I wasn't expecting it. The Charities Commission has tightened up its coverage of charities, and though we are a small charity, it doesn't matter whether you're a small charity or a large one, the same regulations apply. And Pauline has investigated and appointed on behalf of us a new treasurer, a new accountant, and I think Pauline's going to mention that in her report. But his advice has been fantastic. We've all been lapping it up. He's been very good. So I'd like to thank Pauline for her work as treasurer, as well as with the website and all the other things. And I'd now like to hand over to Pauline to give us your treasurer's report.
Thank you. I did forget my glasses, so Rowena.
So I've had to take mine off and I can't work this now.
Can you see a seat?
I'm going to...
Oh, crumbs.
That's
Sorry,
right.
I'm so sorry. They do work though. Hello everyone. I'll keep it short because nobody wants to talk about money. It's really quite boring. But it is wonderful to be here again at the Art Workers Guild, and thank you all for making the effort to be here. It is a lovely venue, as Rowena said. And as Rowena has mentioned, this year the Society has used the accountancy services of Cameron Forbes Limited. The committee felt that communication was failing with the previous accountant and that we needed someone more proactive. So I spoke to Angus Cameron of Cameron Forbes, and he has invested a great deal of unpaid time in the Society. We're fortunate because he is knowledgeable about Charity Commission compliancy, and he has a really good understanding of the needs of a small society in particular. He's dealt with my concerns about the accounts that have been produced by the previous accountant and has highlighted some issues with which he wants the Society to deal with within the next year, some of which I definitely didn't see coming. They're small things, but they're things that just need to be dealt with immediately, policies that we need to put in place, that kind of thing. He and I have had 3 in-depth face-to-face meetings, as well as numerous emails, to discuss the expectations and culture of the Society. And I'd like to ask here if I can have the approval of the members to appoint Cameron Forbes Limited as our accountants for the current year's accounts as well, please. Could I have a show of hands? Thank you. Does anyone disagree? Wonderful, thank you so much. I wouldn't know what you'd do if you did, so. As you all know, and as Rowena said, we did publish the review this year, for which we are obviously very grateful to Rowena, who edits and produces it for us without cost to the Society for her work. And we're also indebted to all the contributors and the others who assisted Rowena with editing, proofreading, etc. You'll see from the accounts up to the end of the March 2024 that we were in a strong, I can't even see it, that we were in a strong position to have a review production year with £26,000 in the bank. The production of the review and the subsequent postage to all members is obviously a huge expense, but we do feel that the publication is an essential part, a defining part of the Society's identity. The current money in the bank after producing the review and sending out the most of the copies is over 23,000. So we've recovered very well from that. After a few concerns about the reliability of my own personal laptop and the increasing scope of our offering, we chose to move our bookkeeping from a spreadsheet to a basic cloud-based Sage package, which is something I fought against for a while because I thought we should keep it free of charge. But we successfully applied for a 50% lifetime charity discount from Sage. So if anyone here is a member of a similar society and wishes to know more about that arrangement, do get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to share the information, because that can make the difference between someone having a decent dedicated software package and going without it. You know, 50% every month, it's a small amount, but it's a good reduction. We awarded a bursary of £1,000 during this year, 750 of which had been paid during that year, and the balance was paid afterwards upon completion. These funds are not ring-fenced, and we are not obliged in any year to award it. After recent committee meetings, we discussed and increased the future annual bursary amount available to reflect the changes of the last 15 years. We've looked at index linking, and the amount will now be increased with effect from March 2025 to from £1,000 to £1,500 to provide a more meaningful award. The events this year have again been very varied and successful. Many thanks go to Zoe and Wendy in particular for all their work in setting up, organising and publicising our events. It's made a huge difference to have events dedicated team members, and we will all miss Zoe's input as she's leaving. One of the issues highlighted by the accountancy review is that Eventbrite charges, we currently use Eventbrite for our events, are high at around 10%. And as Rowena mentioned, I hope to use a website-based events feature for future events to maximise the profit and to save the duplication of work between the committee, because often we're doing the same things in different places and not knowing that we're doing the same work. We have an increasing range of products available in our shop, including videos and the downloadable index. Members still get free UK postage on all publications. The increase in subscription rates, which was approved at last year's AGM, is taking a great deal of work to administrate, but it was a necessary change, and I appreciate the support of everyone who approved it last year. Reviews have now only been sent to fully paid up members who have replied to my messages confirming their addresses, because returns cause additional work and expense for the Society, particularly in the case of overseas members. And one last point, there are still people who pay a subscription amount every year, but for whom I have no email address or further information. If you think you may know someone or any one of these people, please do ask them to contact me so I can straighten things out. I hate to think that somebody is a member for years and years and just stops receiving the review because the information's got lost somewhere and dropped off. So any help anyone can give would be great. Thank you.
Oh, she's taken the piece of paper.
No.
Pauling's got it. For the election.
Pauline? Have I taken? No, I've taken it. Sorry. Slight hiccup. It's because I can't see what I'm looking at without my glasses. We're coming to the committee, and Philippa is going to take us through the current and the planned committee, and I think we've got, let me take this the right way. Here we are. Just so that you know who we are.
Oh, very nice. Sort of. Hello, everybody. I'm Philippa Mapes. If you don't know me, that's me there. I'm going to talk to you about the current offices that we've got in place and some changes that are happening after the AGM. Our current officers, as you can see, are Rowena as our honorary chair. She's in her third year of her fourth term, as she mentioned before. Myself, I'm the honorary vice chair. I'll be stepping down, which I'll come to in a minute. Our honorary treasurer, Pauline, who you've just heard from, honorary secretary, Eleanor, and our other committee members, Andrew Bush, Lucy Ellis, Wendy Andrews, David Skinner, and Joanna Banham. And Zoe. Zoe's not allowed her picture because she's stepping down. Plus, it probably wouldn't fit with the format. Zoe's been an amazing member of our committee, and we're sorry that she's stepping down, but we thank her very much for all her hard work, particularly arranging all our events and helping us with all our IT. So the re-election of officers would be this year. We don't need to re-elect Rowena because she's has another year to go. We do need to re-elect Pauline as honorary treasurer, Eleanor as honorary secretary, and our committee members, Andrew, Lucy, Wendy, David, Joe, and myself. We have a vacancy for another committee member, and we have a proposal of Caroline Bennett-Jane. She is being proposed by Pauline and seconded by me. Does anybody have any objection? All those in favour then, thank you. Should have done that the other way around, sorry. Also a change of role. Regrettably, I'm going to step down as vice chair due to pressure of work. I will remain on the committee if everybody's happy with that. Having been on it for over 25 years, I think it'd probably be like losing a limb. I wouldn't, I'd just turn up outside the Art Workers Guild round about November, December, banging on the window. So I shall stay as a committee member, but I'm standing down due to work pressures. And Wendy has offered to step up, and she is being proposed by Lucy and seconded by Andrew. So all those in favour of Wendy taking over as vice chair, please, thank you. Anybody against? No. So I declare everybody elected and everything's great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And before we move on, Zoe, would you like to come forward? We'd like to say thank you. Zoe has been amazing. She has moved us on into the 21st century with everything, all the technology. Yes, Caroline. Sorry, Caroline, would you... Caroline Bennett-Jane, who is now joining us on the committee. Welcome. Yes, thank you very much, Caroline. It's a big ask, but we're looking forward to working with you. So it's going to be a new team or an addition to the team next year, this forthcoming year. That's about it for the AGM, unless anybody has any other business they'd like to raise or any questions that have come out of silence. I'm sure you won't stay like that. It's usually really noisy in here later on. So we have now, what time is it? We have a lunch break. Some people may arrive during the lunch break to join us. And then from 2 o'clock, we've got Joanna's talk on Oscar Wilde, Wallpaper and the House Beautiful, which should be fantastic this afternoon. So as I said, lunch is through there, tea and coffee is through there. Thank you, everybody.